Hello and welcome to the Live Beyond Show with Dino and Nikki Salas. Once again, we are back talking about a fantastic subject today, and we are going to get into it. How are you, baby?
I'm wonderful. I am marvelous.
Boy, you are always marvelous. Is there a day where you are not marvelous, babe?
In this moment, I am.
Okay, all right, that's good. I'm going to be marvelous with you, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Match my energy.
There you go. All right. So today we are talking about loving your partner with all your heart. Okay. But first of all, let me say that it is up to us to love our spiritual father or God with all your heart first. Number one. But since we are both spirits and we are spirits of God, we should love one another with all our hearts.
We should.
Yes. And let me tell you what I mean.
We should see each other as spirit first.
Right. Now, what I mean by loving each other with all your heart is because the heart is on the inside. It's in the secret place. It's in the place where nobody knows anything, not even you sometimes. That you are aware of, okay? But I will say this, the things that come out of your mouth, the things that you show in action will always be displayed in your secret or in the secret of your heart. Do you agree?
Yeah. Go a little bit further. Explain to them what that means.
Okay, so to me, first of all, to have a real marriage is to have a spiritual marriage, okay? And what I mean by a spiritual marriage is to have a connection, a deeper connection of the heart, and not just a surface marriage. For instance, I've seen and experienced myself, sometimes we are in a marriage just to accommodate one another.
Pay the bills.
Pay the bills. Tell the truth, babe. Tell the truth. Okay? Or sometimes we do it for ego-based reasons. You know, we got the trophy, you know. But we're missing the authenticity of the spirit inside you of being internally connected with one another. Okay?
Yeah. So, yes, I believe, should we see each other as spirit first? Yes, because we, though that is not recognized or not considered often throughout our lives, right? We see each other more for the physical. And I get it. I believe God has put in us ways to attract each other. So we can be with each other and definitely to procreate, to multiply in a physical sense. Though we should be multiplying in other ways as ourselves and as in a marriage. I do feel that, like Dino said a little while ago, we are doing a lot of surface stuff. We are getting married or being in a relationship, though there are so many different types of relationships, right? It's not only a relationship with a mate in an intimate sense. Relationships we have with our coworkers, our jobs, our family members, and definitely that relationship with yourself. Because that should be the best relationship you guys should have. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Tell him in the back.
So I used to tell my grandson, amen.
So yes, that's part of it. You know, I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that that's not and should not be considered. However, it should not be the main reason why you're getting somebody, because it would mislead you to making some decisions in your life. You know, definitely when it comes to a mate, I would hope that you are, because I know you guys are better than that, right? That you guys are even dating, whether you are not in that you know, marriage or boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend. That's up to you. Whatever, your relationship. Even when you're dating, you should be seeing beyond, because you'll get up there and put yourself in a trick bag if that's all that you're looking at.
At the physicality of it, the
Yeah.
attraction, the things.
Because them chemical senses, that's what's going on. But that stuff, that it wears away, and it's not gonna be at the same heightened sense as in the beginning. I know you all have heard of the honeymoon phase, right? And that can also be considered, or happens in the beginning of dating.
Yes.
You're just like all head over heels, your head is in the clouds. But then at some point, just like with the plane, it's going up, more higher elevation, right? It goes beyond or above the clouds. But at some point, that plane comes down.
Yes. and that's the whole point of what I'm talking about today, or what we're talking about today, which is the heart, right? The place where you can't see, not the physicality part of it, but what is really going on in your heart, in your marriage, okay? Because where your thoughts are is where your heart is, okay? This is what I've learned. So, for instance, you need to ask yourself, where are my thoughts? Because where your thoughts are is where your heart is. Once again, like I said. So let me just say it like this.
Okay.
Honesty, integrity, kindness, patience. Those are the things that you can't see, right? Because most of us are attracted physically by the looks. We always say, what are you bringing to the table? What do you have to offer me? Okay. You working? You got a job? Okay. Be careful what you ask for. Okay. Because there are those, and I was going to touch on this a little bit, but I'm kind of skipping ahead. There are those that are more in love with their job than they are with their person that they're in a relationship. They spend more time there.
I'm clutching my pearls, my invisible pearls over here.
So, and this is what I'm talking. See, that's the physicality of it. But what's going on in our heart? Because and I'm skipping again forward, where you spend most of your time at. Is it your job?
That's really where your heart at too.
Is it with your friends? Is it with your family? Is it
even with your kids? Because
is it with your kids?
Because in relationships, people have children for the most part, right? That's how they get here. So, your children, I believe, your children should not be your main, how should I say, your main, that should not be where all your focus and attention is. Because how is your relationship with your partner that you chose to be with, hopefully, unless you're in an arranged marriage or something. But if you're not, whatever we put our attention to, you all, that's what grows. So how can we expect our relationship with our significant other, our partner, to get better if it's all, somewhere else, or it's misdirected? And like we said, yeah, I get it. People have jobs and so forth, but even with that, that's a choice too, right? So if you are working those 40 hours, if not more, which unfortunately America has become accustomed to overworking, that little time that you might have with your significant other, make the best of it. Plan that stuff out. And actually, you should be dating, because you're still supposed to date your partner even after y'all move in with each other. Get married or not get married, that's up to you. Hey, I'm not here to judge nobody. But you still have to put work into that. You just don't say, okay, we together and that's it.
And that's the question that I have here. Where is your heart, or where was your heart when you first met? And where is your heart now?
Because it can change.
Because it can change. You can allow it to change with, kids, jobs, new kids, more kids, just all sorts of things. social media, you spending too much time on social media instead of having a conversation with your significant other. That's a part of where your heart is. That's where your mind is. And like I always say, where your heart is, your mind is going to think of, and that's what's going to manifest in your life. So if you are not thinking about your significant other, it's going to deteriorate because anything that you don't spend attention on, okay? Because I have here attention, which is where's your time? Are you listening? Are you here? Are you observing? What are you touching? What are you feeling? In your relationship, or is all this attention going somewhere else? Where is it being drawn to? Where is it being pulled to? We have to put attention on what we want to manifest in our life. Now, if you don't want a happy marriage, then
Shazam, that's what's gonna happen.
Right, because your heart isn't in it.
That means if your heart ain't in it, you are not going to feed in a positive manner. And I'm not just talking about what we digest physically as, quote unquote food. There's different ways we take in, we should be getting nourished, because there's a difference between nourishment and food, just food, right? Food is just eating, is just something to fill you up, but something that's nourishing is something that is more conducive for your well-being. So in that same sense, if you are not feeding your relationship, then, because we get nourishment for our bodies, right? So we can live down here.
Yes.
So whatever you're not helping to live, you're helping to die.
Right.
You're helping to bring death to it.
So you have to ask yourself these questions. Where is my heart then? Is it still in the same place now? Or do I need to consciously bring it back to where it used to be?
Well, I cannot say that because that depends where you started off at.
And
right?
I knew you were going to say this, and I'm already prepared for it. Go ahead.
Okay, so that depends on where you started off at, because I'm a believer in things unfolding, evolving, things can change.
Yes.
So say for example, Fred and Shonda got together. Oh, I found me a new name. Fred and Shonda got together, and at the beginning, maybe they were just the surface people where, hey, let's just come on, Fred, let's do this marriage thing. Or he said that to Shonda, and they just saw it as an arrangement, Which let me say this as well while we're here. When I said earlier about arranged marriage, an arranged marriage is not just something you will see in different cultures, right? Where one family, two different families will get their children, whether it be son or daughter, or and they bring them together, and that's considered arranged. But an arranged marriage can also be us unconsciously saying, okay, I'm arranging, to be with this person based off of Fred got that good job. Fred good looking, at that nice car,
Yes.
Something like that. And you're not really looking to be in love with somebody. Not saying that these things should not have some significance. They shouldn't just not be the main thing that you're looking at, because again, that could put you in a trick bag and make you think that you're in a marriage that's based off of love. So let me go back to earlier what you were saying about so earlier, when you brought up about how, let's go back to the beginning. Well, maybe the beginning didn't start off on the greatest foot. Okay. Maybe you got together again, like I said, the example with Fred and Shonda, they were just surface stuff. And maybe over time, they started to fall in love with each other, which is what happens in arranged marriage in different cultures, from what I have learned from people that have known that are in these different cultures where they were in arranged marriage. They call it those people that would really choose each other and not be in these type of situations or marriages, those were love marriages.
Right. And so it's a choice, right? So when two people have never met and they put each other together, their intention and their heart is, we're going to make this work. Okay. And that's what I'm saying is what's going to grow. But one person, if they're not in it,
they checked out.
They're not, their heart is not in it because they wanted to meet somebody on their own.
They just a body sitting up in their house.
Right. So it's like, it's the same way, because that's if you're just meeting somebody, but I'm also talking about if you're already in a marriage. See, because your heart could be in it in the beginning. And this is why I'm asking you to ask yourself this question. Do I really love this person? Do I really, am I thinking about them? Am I being considerate of them? Am I, like, once again, I said,
am I positively feeding this relationship?
that's you moving ahead, baby. You moving ahead, because I got, so because that's where your heart is, right? So if your heart is not in the marriage, in the secret place of your being,
that your partner won't even know, you will know. Your partner will know it in your actions, though.
Well, if they're consciously aware and paying attention, because I've been in that where it was over a long time ago, right? But I didn't see it, right? So it can be deceiving, because think about your heart, Nikki. There are things even in ourselves that we don't even know yet. That's in our heart.
That's true.
That's in our secret being place. And that's why it's important to learn to get these things out of you and to purify your heart so that you can love someone else to the fullest, to get, because that's what I believe God wants. He wants two people to know the fullness of what a marriage is, being together, learning to coexist together, right? Loving each other purely. But if your heart is impure about one another, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be issues, okay? And this is what I'm saying here. First of all, let me backtrack, because I'm not saying to love your partner with all your heart to where it becomes a worship, okay? To where it becomes like, that's all I'm ever thinking about, That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the infatuation. I'm not talking about the obsessiveness. But you have to know and recognize within yourself, I'm not giving attention to this thing. Because you could be putting too much attention in your finances. Like we said, your job, a business,
your friends, your family.
I mean, there's so many different things where our heart is, but if you're in a partnership, you have to put your heart on that. And if that's difficult for you, then you need to re-examine or maybe take some things off your plate so that you can divert and focus your heart and your mind on the thing that you want most in your life. Now, you were talking earlier about two people meeting each other, right? Most of the time, Nikki, okay, because we're talking about the physical and the spiritual heart, okay? Most of the time, you're going to attract the type of person that what your heart desires. So if you're fixated on the physical and you're fixated on a person that, well, they got to have a job, or they got to have this money, or they got to have a nice car, they got to look good, guess what you're going to attract into your life? Because that's your desire, right?
But we're not saying, but I know that's not you all, right? But we're not saying, oh, I want somebody that treats me well, that loves me unconditionally, that is supportive, that is kind. We're not asking that stuff.
Yes, because what you truly desire, with feeling and with truth, not with motives, because motives block it.
Again, those are arranged marriages.
Yes.
Arranged marriages.
So you see where I'm going with this, where are we truly really loving our spouses? It should be at a constant growth and a constant, because as you start to love yourself better in your heart and purify your heart, the more pure your love is going to be for someone else that you're close to. Because, like, I'm gonna take you and me for example. This is going to be our 9th year together. Okay, we are learning more about each other every single day.
Definitely not the same people we were
No.
in the beginning, and shouldn't be.
Exactly. We're growing together. That's because that's where our hearts are. Our hearts that we want to grow together in the same direction, going higher in God and higher in life and higher in faith. That's a growth. That's where my heart wants to be. The problem is sometimes one person's heart is in it and the other one isn't. And that's the difficult part, right? So this is where I'm kind of leading into, because what you see as real becomes real when you wish that on your partner, when you live what you're desiring. You understand what I'm saying? No? So this is kind of what I mean, okay? So like I said, sometimes you're in a relationship where one person is desiring and the other one isn't, right? So what I mean by this is that you have to be and desire what you want in the other person in order for that person to, because you can't change nobody else. You can't say, hey, I want you to love me. I want you to be more affectionate. You can tell people that, but it has to come from their own heart, right? But you also have to display what you want in return.
That's true.
Is what I'm saying. So if your heart starts to build a silent resentment towards the other person, or maybe they have the resentment towards you, and that's what's causing the not getting the fullness of the relationship, or we're not mentally paying attention to one another, therefore not spiritually connecting intimately because our mind is somewhere else. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
But most of the time we want to, I don't know, what's that word you used before? Browbeat? Or is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Browbeat.
Try to make somebody
to make somebody into doing something that they willfully don't want to.
Unwillfully.
Yeah,
Willingly.
thank you. Yes, where they don't want to do it. So now you become discouraged. You're not happy. It's like a ripple effect of everything that's going on because you see that it's not being reciprocated, right? So here's the question: what do you do? And I'm going to ask you holistically, what do you do when someone is not reciprocating the love that you expect? Okay. Now, we have to be aware of this because everyone has a different perspective on what love is, Nikki. And that's where I think we get kind of like, where we have issues because the way you think I should be loved is not how I think I should be loved. So what do you do when someone's not loving you back or loving you with all their heart?
There's nothing you can do about that. Like you said before, you can't make nobody love you. Just like, microphone check. I'm about to say something.
You gonna tell them in the back row?
Yeah.
All right.
Just like someone cannot make you happy.
Yeah.
They can be part of, doing things that help promote happiness in you. But if Fred is doing everything he possibly can to have Shonda be happy, to put a smile on her face, if she still chooses not to, there's nothing he can do about that. And again, I'm not saying not to be, but when you are happy, you pour that, because we all are energy, right? So we pour that in, and people can feel that on you. You ever been
Yes.
around somebody, they didn't even have to say much? Ain't that something? Sometimes we think we have to talk all the time, but they don't even have to say much. Just being around them gives you peace, joy, makes you happy. Them just smiling, just makes you happy. So it's not always these things that's going to promote happiness. Happiness and peace is something from within, and
Yes.
that's
Yes.
something that you allow yourself to feel, no matter what.
So then, what you're saying is you could even be so overly compulsive in trying to get someone else's love instead of enjoying your own peace and your own love within yourself.
And that's and I'm glad you brought that up, because if Shonda and Fred, and poor Fred trying to do everything to make Shonda happy, and she just like nope, or trying to, get her to so-called love him or show care, and she's not doing it. The best thing you can do, because we can't force somebody to do nothing, right? We want them to willingly choose. We want them to choose to do things for us, with us, right? Be in love with us. It's always going back to self then. Because everything starts from within you. So take that attention. I'm not saying to be mean to her now, because what you give, you get back too.
That's my
point.
But
pour that, come back to yourself. And then hopefully, as you are building upon yourself, because everything starts from the inside first, as we have consistently, threaded through this podcast so far, we talk about spirit, right? Because spirit is the most important part of us. And when we allow ourselves to connect deeper to our spirit, it will allow, or it will talk to the mind, and the body just follows instructions from the mind.
Yeah, and that is so crucial, because going back to what you just said, it's important to be and enjoy the happiness in yourself, because that will influence the other individual, whether you realize it or not. It might take years, but it can.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. You know what I'm saying? But we have to ask ourselves, where is my joy and my peace coming from? It's not coming from your partner. You're just trying to enjoy cohesively the joy and the love with somebody.
And you should be, I would hope that someone would want to get in a relationship to share their life and share their joys and so forth.
So what are some things that we can do to help promote, first of all, the change in ourselves, but to help influence and change your partner? One of them that I came up with was to encourage, to notice the good qualities in someone else, to not just always fixate on the bad qualities of somebody, because now just like we said, where's your heart? If your heart is always talking bad about your significant other, especially to other people,
oh my gosh,
that's letting you know that your heart is not pure for your significant other or your partner.
And what you put out there comes back to you. It's a song somewhere like that.
Well, most of us, we want to vent to our inner circle and our friends, but my recommendation is, talk to a professional, somebody that has been trained and knows how to talk to somebody, or someone that knows what's going on, that is isn't picking sides. Someone that's neutral, somebody that doesn't know either one of you, kind of type of thing. To me, telling your friends because you're trying to vent and let out some emotion, 90% of the time, they're gonna agree with you
because you're the friend.
Because you're the friend, right? So
they're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
But going back to the heart, you even telling other people and downing the other person, suppressing the other person is really truly saying
What's in your heart?
what's in your heart. And that's why I want to bring light to this, because you have to ask yourself, is my heart in this? Is this, are we both in this together? Like, or am I here by myself? Or, what am I saying? Is this like for real? Like you're doing that? Like you're saying that? Like I heard you, and I'm not saying this to bring division. I'm saying this to bring awareness so that we can make the appropriate and needed changes that we need to make in ourselves to help bring a better whole with two people.
I believe, because again, going back to the self, everything starts with you.
Yes.
So it does make me think of at least one quote. Yeah, and I know you all heard that. Be the change that you want to see, right? So if you are being that change, if Fred is okay, I want to spend more time with Shonda. And so him doing that, because we receive what we give when it's genuine. Let me say that.
Yes.
Let me say that. It has to be genuine, you all. It cannot be, okay, let me just do this for her, so she could do it for me. True love, and I know this might rattle a little bit. True love is the greatest love, which is, it is termed agape. Agape, which is the purest love. It comes only from God, because our stuff, I believe, is tainted. Because we people trying to be better, right? But as pure as it can be for humans, unconditional love, that you're doing something without the expectation. So Fred shouldn't be doing stuff for Shonda and then get mad because he not getting it back. She should be doing more stuff back? I believe so. But it's like you gotta, when you getting mad, sometimes you have to question yourself, what am I getting mad for? Well, I bought her some flowers with the expectation that she would buy me a watch. Then no, that's not love. Love is just like, you just look for ways to make that person feel good, to be better. And again, going back to self, when you are doing that for yourself and know that of yourself, you can, check a lot of that stuff. And I believe that's what, I believe often we're not doing that. Even going back to, let's rewind when we were talking about the reasons why we even get married.
Right.
I mean, are we just, we want a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a live-in maid or whatever? You have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, that's the key. That's what's in the heart, is the honesty.
Right. But sometimes that stuff is hidden, right? And sometimes we don't really know it. We just masking it with, I'm getting married because, because I love Fred. But do you really? Or you just love what Fred, like Dino said about the trophy, because there's women out here that's looking for trophy men too, or trophy significant others, however, what
but
your
then your
thing
marriage,
is.
for that reason, becomes a masquerade.
Right.
It's not real. It's fake.
Right. And that's what I'm saying, that if you continue with that, if you're not being honest with yourself, okay, microphone check, is this on?
Tell them in the back row.
Okay. When we are not honest, you all, and I'm not saying go out, like Dino said, you don't got to be honest with everybody, because there's a difference between privacy and transparency. Privacy is some things that just should be between you and your partner and you and God. And these are things that, and I'm talking about as long as you are safe, right? When you are unsafe, sometimes you have to go and seek, counsel or talk to somebody else. I'm definitely not talking about that stuff, but I'm talking about, Fred, we got, Fred and Shonda, you got money problems. If that person ain't gonna fix it, they don't need to be knowing about it. So that's private.
Yeah, because they're just gonna talk and think bad about your partner that you just got through talking about, and that's what's going out into the ether, and that's going to create because you're a creator. That's what you're going to create even faster into your life.
Yeah, so even, speaking about from the heart, it's like, why are you even really sharing that? Are you sharing that because you are really concerned? Because maybe Shonda really is concerned and she's looking for help. But it could also be, well, I just, I want to get back at him, whatever like that. So that's what I'm saying about like really checking ourselves, because in this time, this age of so much information, and I know, especially like on different social platforms, Facebook being one of them, sometimes we get in our feelings, right? And that should not be the first place where we go and vent. Right. Like Dino said earlier, I'm a firm believer of therapy, a coach, or somebody, that one true person that you can really, be like, do your woosah with or whatever.
Right.
But again, are we really checking in within our hearts? So let me go back to what I was talking about, being honest. As far as people even getting married, it's like, do you really want to marry Fred because you're in love with him? Because that should be the seed of all of it. And then he just so happens to be good looking and drive a nice car, whatever. But if you're doing it outward, you're doing it backwards, it's the outward stuff that's more important than the end, then guess what? That then, just like how it says in that spiritual teaching about, houses being built on sand, it blows. They have no sturdy foundation.
Yes.
When you really truly love somebody, your significant other, you should be building on that love for one another. Hopefully y'all love each other.
Tell them in the back row.
Because when we're not honest about this, then we're never going to be able to get to the root of no issues that we have. And I say issues first, right? Because it becomes a problem when we are choosing not to deal with it. And again, about being honest. For example, Shonda goes to the doctor, Dr. Joe. And Dr. Joe, because usually when you are new to a physician or, different kind of clinics and so forth, they give you a questionnaire, right? And they're asking that to get an idea or a picture of some things that they need to talk to you about or look for. So they're hoping that you would be honest. Are you going to be 100% honest? You're probably not, but as much as possible. So if Shonda is a person that smokes, but she don't want to tell the doctor that, okay? She is a person, that drinks. But she don't want, the doctor to know that she drinks every day. That's just Shonda. There's no judgment here. I'm just saying that's what Shonda do. So she go to Dr. Joe. She's in the office and she's talking to him, and he comes up, he goes through the questionnaire and be like, oh, okay, I see you're not a smoker. I see you're not a drinker, whatever. So he's not going to talk to her about the issues that could possibly come from, over, excessive, things, whether it be smoking or drinking. So it's an issue at first. It becomes a problem because she's, for one, not being honest about it.
Exactly.
Because it's not even about her being honest with him. She not for what reason she's choosing not to tell him, because she don't want to be honest about it.
Right. And what's the reason? Possibly shame.
That's it right there.
Yeah, guilt. It could be shame, guilt. And these are deep rooted issues is what we need to focus on and put attention to, so we can get rid of them, which are idols in you. See, most people think, idols, obviously they're statues and images and things that are going on.
Images,
right? Now, these are images inside you. Jealousy, bitterness, which is also going to kill the marriage, because when you secretly resent your significant other, eventually it's going to deteriorate, because
and what's in the heart it finds its way to come out.
It will grow. It will grow, and it will come out, and it will be shown. You're not going to be able to hide it. And people may actually, your partner may actually question, like, and be a little confused and be like, did I just see that right now? Okay. And the person might not even know they're doing it unconsciously, but it's their being. It's who they are in their spirit, in their subconscious, in their whole makeup. That's what they're feeling about you. And it's important to be honest and question the individual. Cause what you're seeing and hearing, it's a behavior, but you need to get to the deep-rooted issue of why is this behavior happening? What is the real issue of why my heart is not in it for my partner? And that's where the healing begins, is cutting the thing off at the root. But if you lie to yourself and lie to everybody else and you think, oh, no one's going to know, it doesn't matter if, it don't even matter if you know, because it's
hurting you though.
It's hurting you. It's like a poison. It's killing you slowly, and it's going to kill your marriage slowly, right?
Yeah.
And then if both people are feeling like that about each other, the process of the deterioration of the marriage or the partnership or the relationship is going to increase dramatically because that's where both of you guys' hearts are at.
Yeah.
You understand? So this is important that we get this right. Question your heart. Is it in your relationship, or is it that you don't want to be there no more?
And sometimes this needs to be done.
Yeah.
Just like how, when you guys got together, Shonda and Fred again. Yeah. I would hope that you all just didn't have conversations when you were dating. You should even more so be having more than conversation, but effectively communicating, because there's a difference. Effectively communicating with one another after you guys moved in with each other, became girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, and married. You should actually be having more of these, right? So if we and in the beginning, this is something I want to say to you all. And this goes back to what Dino brought up earlier about going back to the beginning. Well, say it was 10 years ago. Say, and as we changed, it's just like the seasons change on this beautiful, earth. We change as people, right? And like me and Dino like to call ourselves, we like to call ourselves seasoned people. We don't mind middle age, but old, never. Never. So as you are changing, unfolding, evolving, ain't nothing meant to go back to the same. Because it should be evolving. So if your love,
Yes.
How you were with each other 10 years ago, it should be evolving, but
It
to
should
go
be
back.
stronger. Yes.
Right. But if we saying we want to go back, like I would hear some people say, I wish I could go back to the size I was when I was in high school. Well, that was a different season in life, right? You were a child then, we were teenagers when we were in high school. So if you were a child and you're an adult, especially if you're a middle-aged adult now, and then more than likely, you probably won't be that size. That's the size you were supposed to be at that time. Not to say you should not be, in a healthier size today or whatever, but it might not be the exact same size. We should never wish to go back, because you can't change that. How, and so when people say, well, Shonda might say, well, Fred changed. Well, hopefully he changed for the better, right? But sometimes that happens where when they got together, say they was just the surface people, where it was just about, outward things, right? Material things.
Well, not fully understanding something is a surface thing.
Yes. So maybe in the beginning, Fred was, and I'm not saying to keep things up, to, help each other, be nice to each other and different things like that. I'm not saying not to do that. But saying in the beginning, Fred, I don't know, he used to, let me think of something. Buy flowers every day. And I'm not saying that that's, that shouldn't stop or whatever, but maybe he might be writing her poetry now, but if it's a good thing that has changed for the better, accept it as a good thing. Now, and sometimes we be wanting people to be exactly the same 10 years ago. I mean, because that's not really allowed. loving them, because when we love somebody, we want them to evolve. So I just give you another example. If Fred and Shonda, they 20, when they got together or dating, they was 20 something, they used to go to the clubs every weekend. Cause I know I can't do that in my season. I'm like, and then she say, oh, well, he's changed. Well, that was 10 years ago.
Right.
That's not important to him no more, And if she has stayed that same person, but she is really, not being honest with herself, she like, cause that's what her heart at. She still wants to do that. No judgment here.
Yes.
Just saying that that's if that person so choose. But we can't be mad at another person because they chose to evolve, change for the, different than you, and you want to pull them back to who they was 10 years ago. That's not right.
Right. And that's so true what you're saying, so it is important, like I said, to show affection by encouraging one another, seeing the good in them, like we said before, because there's a thing that says here that what you see is real. What you see is real and becomes real. So always see the good in your partner. So basically, if you believe and see something in someone wholeheartedly, because that's what you believe, it will manifest in that thing. It will happen. But if you're always killing, the other individual in a way, you're killing their spirit. You're not encouraging them. You're tearing them down. Guess what they're going to be? Your reality of what you see in them is going to be real. That's what I'm saying. So try to see the good. And you might have to look really deep sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Try, because it's in there. It's in all of us. We all got good in us, and we all don't have good in us. But what do you choose to see? What do you choose to believe about that individual? And hopefully they will believe it in themselves too.
Right. So, yes, I do believe in that.
But
I just want to add this because I want people to be safe, right?
Yes.
Because I've known, of situations, with various people, including myself, that I was, but, he's doing all this over there. Oh, let me not look at all that stuff
No.
Let me not see this big elephant in the room. But hey, look at this cute little puppy dog sitting over here in this garden.
That's not what I'm telling you.
I know that's what you're not saying.
Right.
But I just often I hear that.
Yes.
See the good in people. Sometimes you need to recognize that bad and let that be good for you, because you're aware of it.
Right.
Like good Maya, the departed or transitioned.
Yes.
Maya Angelou said, somebody show you who they are, you believe them. So if it's, it's trying to see some stuff from Fred, he might still have some good qualities, but it's a whole bunch of bad. You got to see that too.
There is wickedness out there in the heart of people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you do what's best for you. You do what your heart tells you to do. We're not here to tell nobody, and this is a disclaimer. We're not here to tell nobody what to do. We're not here to, like tell you, oh, you need to leave. No, this is your choice, and you know in your heart when you do what you need to do. For the betterment and the safety of you and everyone around you.
Yes, and that's what I say to people.
Yes,
when they ask me, should I leave? Well. I will.
Should I stay or should I go?
Right, but I am a firm believer. Somebody is, if they're telling me, because I still have a license to protect, right? And it's not only about that license. I want people to be safe. So if someone is in a situation where they are unsafe, just like if they were going, to a doctor's office or so forth, because that's what happens. When women. I don't know if guys know this, but, when women go to different, go to the doctor and stuff, they ask you, are you in a safe space and stuff? Because unfortunately, a lot of women that have been in domestic situations, their partner will always be around them. So usually when they go to the doctor, especially an OB/GYN, that will usually be the only time when they say, okay, we're putting in this question in the survey. I mean, in the questionnaire, are you in a safe space?
Mm-hmm.
So if you all are, if somebody asks me, should I stay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you are being abused or somebody else in your, household, then I will say that I want you to be in a do what's best for your well-being. And I'm always encouraging people to be safe.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely. So recap real quick. Checking where your heart is, your attention. All right. That's your attention. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Are you there? Are you present? Number 2, your affection. Are you noticing the good qualities in the other person? And then the final thing I wanted to talk about, or we wanted to talk about, is appreciation. Mm-hmm. Okay. The deep caring. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because, and we were talking about this earlier, Nikki, of sometimes we can become so engulfed in life that we forget that we are in a marriage, mm-hmm. that we're in a marriage with another human being, mm-hmm. that has feelings, that needs attention, needs someone to appreciate, mm-hmm. someone to respect, and someone that needs to be treasured. Mm-hmm. Treat people, or treat your partner as a special thing, mm-hmm. A special being, mm-hmm. not like, taking things for granted, mm-hmm. and I'm just, coming home. Okay, I got to go to work. Bye. See you. Mm-hmm. It's like you're missing out on the possibility of the fullness of a fantastic marriage. Mm-hmm. So pay attention to that. That's important. Support, respect. Like, these are powerful words that have to be and should be implemented in marriage.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yes. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap it up now, and we will see you on the next one. We want to say thank you for joining us. We are sponsored by Nikki S. Salas, mm-hmm. Holistic Coaching, and Dino's Dent Deception Paintless Dent Repair. If you want to get a hold of my wife to have one-on-one consultations, or she does speaking events also, give him the info, babe, would you please?
You can reach me through my website. That's www.nikissalas.com.
Yes. We all need someone to talk to.
Yeah. And I'm about guidance. I'm not about telling you what to do. I'm just there to help open up the answers that lie within you.
Amen. All right. See you on the next one. Live beyond.
Bye-bye.
You got this.